listening. Can you hear me now? Things like this keep me really young because I have to realize that I'm still learning and not to get bothered by it because young people are learning all the time. And the spirit is young all the time. Right. Can you hear me now? No sound from Stephen. Burpee saying no sound. Is your mic turned on? Yes. Ay. It's like the first 5 minutes. Yes, Yvonne can. Yes. Okay. All stations go. Okay, people. Tonight, I have a very special guest that's going to come. A very dear friend that I met many years ago at the Inspirational Arts Festival in Holland Park. He's a poet, a very special poet. People say he paints with words so that you touch your heart. It takes you straight to your heart. I find that's true. Even sitting next to him, I find that's true. His name's Andy Cooney, and I want to introduce you to him right now. He's going to come and sit in the seat.
Good evening. Good evening.
And one of the things about this evening is that, 6 months ago? He has this wonderful center called the White Horse Wellbeing Center. And he has my bronze sculptures here. And we want to talk about them and share their essence with you tonight. So, Andy, do you want to say something?
Well, first of all, I'm deeply grateful for this invitation. I've been a regular attendee of these lives, and I think they're just wonderful, and the community essence and spirit that is being generated, I think, is just wonderful. So
you get to see the face to the name.
Yeah. So
each of you will have to come and be on my lives.
Yeah.
You're not too shy, are you?
No. So anyway, thank you, and Ginger, we bumped into by divine appointment, divine synchronicity in Holland Park, as you mentioned, and then subsequently a mutual friend living in the States, Dana Lynn Anderson, invited me out of the blue to the opening of a centre in Reigate, the Yogananda Centre, and she called from, I don't know where, somewhere in West or Middle America, and said, do you know a place called Reigate, which is like 30 minutes down the road? So I said yes, and off we trot, and there is Ginger with Kuan Yin, who we met the first time, and finally on that, a couple of years later, Ginger called and said, I'm going to be displaying my art in San Francisco on February the 2nd, and we were just having a chat, and I said, can you hold on for a moment? And I checked my diary, and where was I on February the 2nd? San Francisco, with Kuan Yin as a Holy Trinity. So that's how it all started, let's put it that way.
So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Kuan Yin first, and then Andy's going to grace us with some lovely poetry. He's very good at this. So I want to check your messages first, and then we'll get on to that. Checking. Okay. Everyone, you've heard everything? Yes, loud and clear. Okay, now I can hear you. Hi, Vita. Okay, cool. I am very well, Verpy. Thank you for asking. Hi, Andy. There you go. Hi, Jimmy. Yep. Woohoo. There you go. Juliet says she loves your live videos.
Oh, good. Well, I'm sure she loves this one even more.
There is a time delay. I remember when I was a kid, Matt and I were messing around in your studio, and I came down the stairs and nearly knocked myself out. You were so kind to me. Haha, looked after my head. Jimmy, I hope that was the only time that you hit your head. So, um, Donald, I noticed your comment about your doctor. How are you? Did you have that other operation? Is everything going okay? I will wait to see your comments. Donald, I'm going to check the comments after we talk about Kuan Yin, okay? I'll be right back. Here we go. So, here we have Andy's love of my work. And it's she's the goddess of compassion, apparently. And I just read something in one of Andy's quotes he has here, that she's the mercy of kindness. And what really touched my heart was that she observes the sounds of the cries of the world. And I always understood that she held the gates open to heaven, for waiting for every human being to get there. I think she's been there a long time, and I hope not for much longer. But humanity is advancing towards the evolution of consciousness, and she is definitely a wonderful symbol for me. Andy, do you want to talk about her?
Well, I think mainly to say the first time I met you was with her in Holland Park, and I was just completely and utterly blown away. Completely and utterly blown away, and have been ever since, really. And as I mentioned, to see her in several places in the UK and in the West Coast, I mean, and I have to say, blessedly, she's in the hall here now. She welcomes you as you arrive to the White Horse Wellbeing Centre, and people are just awestruck. I mean, everyone that comes in can hardly speak. The beauty, the compassion is just exquisite.
So, why don't you share with us your vision for this place?
Okay. Well, what comes is, my beloved teacher Gangaji once said, "You have given your life to be lived by love," and we see the results of that. And as Ginger and I discussed during this beautiful afternoon here, the first time I met Gangaji, immediately afterwards in meditation, the phrase came, "How can I best be used to serve truth for the highest good of all?" So really, without knowing what form that takes, and I have to say the 7 sculptures that are here, including Kuan Yin, I feel to be an integral part of what is really an awakening. It's an awakening and a deepening in that awakening, to realise the truth of who we all really are and equally are. So in whatever way that serves, there was a phrase came recently, "Open to everything, attached to no one or no thing, and grateful for every sacred second."
Anybody have any comments about that? Hi, Sue. Hi, Michael. I'm so happy you're here. I have to talk to you about your podcast last night. There's some thoughts I want to share, but I'll do that tomorrow. It was really great. I was very inspired by both of them. So, any questions, people? We are on a time delay. but I don't see any questions. So why don't we go on? Beautifully said, Andy, from Juliet. I know, Juliet, you've been watching his
there's Christian Kiriakou. Hi, Christian.
hi.
Christian actually videoed one of the concert Kirtana and I did celebrating sound and silence in Richmond. He's a dear friend.
Thank you, Becky. She says that when I put the pics on, the live is loud. Okay. And when you come back, I know what the problem is on that. Thank you for telling me. I will cure that right now. Okay, back to the next sculpture. Right. So I don't know if any of you have seen Moment, but this is exemplifies the time that you might be looking at someone, your partner, even yourself in the mirror, or walking down the street. Sometimes you look at somebody and you like recognize each other, but you walk past. It's like a moment of unity, of knowing the spirit in another person and knowing the spirit in you, and choosing, do I walk on or do I go deeper into this relationship? She was supposed to be, or it, he, she, was supposed to be very large for the Olympics, with a perspex orb of the earth behind us. But unfortunately, the sponsor went bankrupt, so she never got that far. She was very big, and when I moved, I had to say goodbye and return her to Mother Earth, because she was clay then. But Andy, do you want to say anything about Moment?
Well, I've experienced a particular moment which really brought home to me what the sculpture points to, and I would say it was a moment of seeing the divine reflection, the divine beauty reflected in another. And of course it relates as much to our divinity as it does to seemingly other people, and in that sense, well, in both senses, in all senses, I just find the piece of art exquisite.
So I'm just going to check. Michael was telling me about this woman, Dr. Conning Sweg. She told us about her latest book called The Inner Work of Age. Really fascinating. And what is happening here? What was that?
That was my secondary appearance. That was the eternal moment of the parallel now.
Oh no. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes things really go pear-shaped here. But I think we're doing okay so far. What I wanted to do is have Andy read you one of his poetic creations. They say that grace comes to him, but he's the paintbrush. So I'm going to leave you to do this right now, young man.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to get out of the way.
Oh, well, as you wish. Either way is fine. It's entirely up to you. Okay, I'm in the hot seat now. Wait, there we go. Okay. Let me just breathe into this. Invite us all just to breathe in some gratitude, some gratefulness. What I'd first of all like to do is to share something that speaks to the artists here, and of course one very much in particular, and yet I also am aware that there are many beautiful artists in this group, Juliet and Angela, and I'm sure many others, And equally at the same time, I think it was Sri Ravi Shankar talks about the art of living. And in that sense, we're all artists, in whatever form that may happen to take. Or I should say, the grace that flows through us. In fact, it was David Primal and Mitten who said, Andy is a painter of words whose poetic art takes one to the straight to the heart of silence. And as Ginger just referred to, a phrase came recently, grace is the effortless beauty of grace is the painter, and Andy is the brush. Silence is a wonderful brush too. So, let's see what wants to be shared. Yeah, speaking to the days in which we're living, at the end of the day, at the start and throughout, we truly have nothing to fear, to worry, or to doubt. We may think that we do, and not know when we doubt or worry, that all thoughts we hold come back in a hurry. So worry you not for what you doubt or fear. Trust fully instead in all you hold dear, and all of a sudden, in perfect divine timing, it's here. So what is the answer to knowing what to do? To be the ever-present silent space where our mind is still and our heart and soul is pure and true. Our mind's job can be to fear, worry or doubt, and yet in the ever-present silence of our heart and soul we know and trust there's nothing to worry or doubt. This forever present space of ease, this forever present space of trust, way beyond the mind space of should not, or must. When we tune into and as our ever-present silent inner knowing, we are one with all of life, and all is perfectly flowing. So what is the answer to knowing what to do? To ask in silence in every sacred second. What would love do? When it comes to complete on this, to make an offering, as alluded to at the beginning, to the artist very much here and within us all. And this actually came at the Inspirational Arts Festival in London, I just remembered, when Ioannis Antoniadis did a marvellous job of setting all that up, and we hold him responsible for the introduction to Ginger and Dana and many others. So this applies to all artists and all living artists and art of living artists. Visionary creator of inspirational living art, we offer you our gratefulness. We offer you our heart. The work done through you is amazing, as is the grace from where it starts. What a wondrous time to live and to serve as old belief systems are falling apart. It takes courage to be a visionary. Some days may seem dark, may seem forlorn, and yet it may appear the darkest just before the dawn. And that's where we are. Be the change, as Gandhi says, and that we truly are. We've travelled long, we've travelled far, on the pathless path of staying true to our true home, as pure gratefulness and tender compassion. We travel with you. We travel as you through all eternity.
Okay. Let's just get us back together. Well, that is very moving, and I want to check and see your reaction to it. Thank you, Andy. Okay, they're talking about moment. Wow, Becky. Becky feels like she's in church. Is this man a vicar?
I've been called worse.
Why isn't this switched over? Because I haven't switched it over.
Okay, cool.
Okay, we're coming back. Okay, I think we're back. Okay, Isabel. I'm going to go back some messages here.
It's just a moment, isn't it?
Yeah. Where can I watch your lives videos, Andy?
Hi, Verpi. I remember your name from many of the other previous. Either on Andy G Paint Words or Andy Cooney on Facebook at the moment.
And she wants to know if you've published any poetry books.
Well, I've got something. Funny enough, just give me 1 second. This was something we were playing with earlier. So I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, there you go. I'll do it.
Just a minute.
That way.
Okay.
Yeah. So Timeless Beauty, inspired by Grace and composed by Andy Cooney. And the picture is of Vancouver Island rainforest, where I lived for the best part of a year. And yes, it includes, I'm not even sure, maybe 30 or so poems. And by the way, let's be clear, I refer to them as poetic, divine insight that happens to be in rhyme. And as Ginger said earlier, Grace is the painter and Andy is the brush. Oh, hi Diane, lovely to see you. Oh.
And looks like the stream cancels a little bit at times. There we go again.
Good.
Maybe Andy's Wi-Fi isn't strong enough. Yvonne says your words are very beautiful. I asked a couple questions. Have you published poetry books? I'm a big fan of poetry. You just answered her.
Yeah.
And have you published that?
Well, not beyond its present form. No, not yet. Although that seems to be exactly where we're at the moment.
We've seen that. Feeling of knowing someone even when you don't. You know, when you met someone. Could that be because we've known that person in a past life? What do you think?
Well, in oneness, it's all the eternal moment of the parallel now. So, yes, on one level, absolutely, and yet truthfully, with a little more time I could expand on this. Essentially, I would say that at a soul level, okay, there's no such place as far away, no matter what our mind may say. We feel our heart and we know that all are always there. For as the one heart and soul we can never go anywhere, but deeper into and as the one forever present heart and soul, so pure and true, where there is no me and there is no you. And to answer your question, there is no time, there is no space. For as the one forever present heart, soul and love, we always eternally embrace.
So, we have another sculpture to discuss. We've got Sacred Vow. I created this a long time ago, actually for a wedding. And there's a Scottish ceremony that I heard of that was very, very beautiful, where they wrap their hands together, don't they? And there's a deeper commitment, a deeper heart commitment to each other. And I made this that was on the altarpiece, and they actually came to my house and had their wedding there. And we set up a situation where the night before they couldn't see each other, and then the next day they could come and get married. I had a big gallery that we set up, an altar and seats and yellow flowers and everything, and the sculpture. And then the next day they could go out, and we took them out. It's like they greeted the world as a sacred couple. It's meant a lot to me, and it's like it always also represents the marriage that we have with ourselves. And as I've often talked about, there's a triangle of relationship that we are when we are in total harmony, and that's the masculine principle, the feminine principle, and your spirit. And it's very special relationship that many of us are still working on. Me too. And then, Andy, did you have anything to say about the Sacred Vow?
Well, yeah, it's Papaji, Punjaji as he's known in India. He talks about becoming a bride, for men too, becoming a bride to truth. So this really, I mean, absolutely, as Ginger just explained, totally, and on the spiritual side of it, when we're married to truth, when we're in service to truth, then a relationship of more traditional nature, shall we call it, is the cherry on top of an already perfect cake. And yes, of course, this 3D sacred vows are exquisite to be part
of. A lot of people, there was one exhibition I had of the Sacred Relationship series, and this one woman came up to me and she said, Ginger, can you tell me about your sculpture, because my sister totally got upset about it and said this is a terrible sculpture, turned around and ran out of the room. And she said, can you tell me about it? So I told her the essence of it, the sacred vow that we have in this instance for a married couple, or we have, as Andy said, to our higher self, to the truth. And I said, why? And she said, because I didn't notice, and she hadn't said it at first, that she had run out. And I said, well, you don't have to tell me, but has she been upset in some way in her life? And she said, yeah, she was just having a divorce. And I said, well, then it's understandable, but the thing about this sculpture, it heals the hurt heart, because it comes from a higher intention, knowing that we're all soul beings of very high order. And if she had stayed around long enough, maybe something very special would happen. But it was special what was happening, because it was recognizing and giving her a chance to visit the pain that she was having. But she was experiencing that because she really was witnessing the highest of what was her deepest longing for, what she wanted in her marriage, in love. We all want love. And sometimes when we see it, we have to pass through the hurts that are standing in the way. So let's come back and see what you guys are saying now. Okay, Verpi, we shall do that. She wants to have your page. I know, Doreen. There is a ghost in the machine. I think it's because Andy's got a different Wi-Fi strength, but I hope it doesn't interfere too much. Verpi, do you know that Sarah, our third daughter, got married to Scotsman, and in their ceremony they did this and all the other things. It's like there was a special drinking bowl, and we all had to have a sip of the Scottish. What do they drink?
The whiskey,
the Scotch.
Malt whiskey.
Scotch.
Yeah.
It was really special, very, very, very moving, because I had this. Had made the sculpture, and I was understanding a bit of the culture. And years later, Sarah got married to a Scotsman, and his brother, his best men, and everything, they all came with kilts, which was really fun. So I know, Julia, you are quite the romantic. Well, we have another sculpture that I think you might like. And it is called The Sacred Passion. So when I was making this, it was like it was coming from the waves and coming up as an energy. And she has this little twirl on the top of her head, which it symbolizes connecting to the higher spirit. But most of all, I didn't want to have a sculpture that you could see one lip kissing the other lips. Because when this really happens, you really dissolve into each other. And you become one. And it's like, I wanted to be that sacred passion. When that happens, boy, oh boy, human beings really are special. And they, that unification is something else. And it was an amazing joy. But it took a bit of time because I was traveling, and I always make it in clay at first. And it's on a piece of wood just there. And when I got back, it was all moldy. And the wood was falling apart. But it doesn't matter, because we made a mold, and it's wonderful because it looks like she's sitting on a bit of driftwood. And I had to redo this bit coming down of the waves, the wave of passion. Yeah, really, she's really great. And she's in bronze. All the ones that are here at Andy's are in bronze. And one day, once he's ready to be open, I think you can come and visit. And forgive me if the mic is too loud again. So, I think we're back. We've done most of the discussion of the sculptures that we prepared for tonight. So, anybody got some more questions? I would love to visit Scotland. I knew, Juliet, you'd really like it. It's- I think everyone would really like it. I certainly would really like. I do like it. I mean, yes, I've had my moments, but Scotland. Yep, I love Scotland. I love hearing their accent as well. Yeah. So, people, I'm wanting to let you know that you know how a while ago we were going to have the Being of Heart Zoom class? Well, now that I'm all moved in, um, I'm ready to do it. So we'll be putting up, I think Rachel's put up the advertisement for it already. And sign up. It'll be in first week of September, I believe. And if that's not okay, let me know. I know, Juliet, you wanted to do it when we first talked about it. So let's see if it happens or not. Drews, you really want to come to England? You've never been here yet. Verpy wants to know what inspires you, Andy.
Great question.
We've got a time delay, but that's okay.
Okay. What inspires me? Silence, particularly. Love, beauty, joy. And really recognizing that we are divine mirrors of these higher, or let's call it deeper frequencies of joy, laughter, beauty, gratefulness, and what a counterbalance they are in a world that is, to some extent, Ginger and I spoke about this earlier. There is a saying, to be a voice of truth in a world of forgetting is the greatest gift a being can offer. So I suppose, having lived on both sides of the egoic coin of grief, of anger, of fear and self-hatred, when one is blessed to find the tools. Okay, there was the poem yesterday, if you recall, about I used to live my life in jail. I don't know if this is the moment for that or not.
I don't know. I think we should let them have a...
Yeah.
Somehow.
So let's see what they're up to. But yeah, Verpy, drop me an email, and there's a poem that we were talking about or shared yesterday or today, whatever, that speaks to that.
What shall we just type what she needs to do to oh my God, I hope I didn't lose them. No.
See more?
Sorry, gang. I've done it again. No. I've lost you. I'm sure you can still hear me. But I have lost the messages, the comments. Well, fair people, I think there isn't much we can do now. Someday I will learn more about this process, knowing how to do it. I think we did fairly well, except for this ghost in the internet. So I want to say thank you and for coming, and I've really lost you now. Yeah.
On Facebook.
We've lost. Here we go.
Oh wait, hang on, I'm back in.
You're back. Connecting live video. Trying. We'll just send her something on the regular thing.
Sure.
So long, people. That's it. Ending. Well, that was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
Let's go on to Facebook. And you have Verpy on Facebook, do you?
Not sure. Well, I mean, if you get help, I don't think we're friends already, but we can easily change that.
Yeah, that's...
Well, it's fun, isn't it?
Yep. But I should have checked the internet more beforehand.
Well, I'll have a look myself. I don't know. I'm not sure what the detail is, but I can certainly look at that. What did I do with the iPad?
You took it out of the room,
Oh, that's fine.
and my computer is freezing.